What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the German Bear Podcast. And today we want to talk about the 2024 NFL Scouting Combine. Day 3 just finished, so we want to talk about the quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers and how they performed in today's drills and how they could be interesting for the Chicago Bears moving forward in this offseason process. And once again, just what a great experience again by NFL Network and the NFL overall with the Scouting Combine in Indianapolis. Such a great time, fun time always. And I think the longest day finished today with running backs, quarterbacks, and wide receivers performing today. The main focus for today's video will be wide receivers because the Chicago Bears do have a big need there, and a couple of guys that could be in the range of the Chicago Bears actually performed today and performed pretty crazily. We have guys that broke records. We have guys that should be top 10 picks and did really well today too. And then for the other position groups today, running back is also a position the Chicago Bears should not lose out on in this year's draft because we do need some depth and complementary guys, and this year's draft definitely has some good running backs as well. And then for the quarterbacks, it's probably going to be Caleb Williams or Justin Fields and no one else for the Chicago Bears next season under the helmet. But still, there's a couple of guys in the later rounds that could be interesting as backups and potential challengers for Tyson Bagent to develop for the Chicago Bears as long-term backups as well. But let's actually start off with the most important position, as I said, the wide receiver position today. And the first guy that I want to talk about today is a guy I've talked about a lot now in this pre-draft process, and it's going to be Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze participated in drills, also ran the 40, and the 40 was so great for him. 4.45 40-yard dash was perfect for Rome Odunze, who measured in at 6'2", and I think over 215 pounds or something like that, around that range. Not completely sure, but it should have been around that range, as I said. And he looked so good in drills as well. I think overall his performance just upped his game even more and just confirmed that he's going to be a weapon in the NFL no matter what, and I'm so excited for him and where he goes in the NFL. Obviously, the perfect spot for me personally would be on the Bears because he can be a perfect complement to DJ Moore on that Bears offense for whoever is under the helmet leading the Chicago Bears offense. But I mean, the guy looked outstanding today, had a great 40-yard dash, and did everything right with his combine outing. Then another guy I also already talked about on the channel that caught my eye immediately was Adonai Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell ran a 4.34 40-yard dash officially at his size. That's absolutely insane. The guy out of Texas, and that's something that's so intriguing and probably will secure him a spot in the first round, in the back end probably, but those playoff contending teams are going to have another shot at a great wide receiver in Adonai Mitchell. And if the Chicago Bears do not get a wide receiver early on and maybe through a trade get a second-round pick that is a little bit higher, that could still consider trading up back into the first round and get Adonai Mitchell. The guy is such a great player, has so safe hands. He almost never drops the football. And on the combine drills today too, with his 40-yard dash, he just looked insane, upped his draft stock even a little bit more, and just confirmed that he's a special talent with his size and speed and great hands and just long frame as well. So Adonai Mitchell, another guy I love to see in today's workouts. Then also Brian Thomas Jr., a certified first-round pick in this year's draft out of LSU, had an insane combine workout. He's probably more out of the range of the Chicago Bears than Adonai Mitchell because he's probably going to go into teens, into late teens to early 20s. So I don't see a way the Chicago Bears really get into that range, but just really want to mention Brian Thomas. He looked so smooth for his size. Like when he was running his whip route, he was dropping his hips so effortlessly and getting back out and keeping his pace. Really good hands on the curls as well. He doesn't need a lot of steps to break and stop on a dime. I mean, Brian Thomas looked phenomenal, and then he had a 4.3 340 for his size too, which is absolutely insane. So this draft is loaded with fast, talented, great wide receivers. It's absolutely insane. Then another guy I have to mention, I mean, it's obviously one of the biggest storylines moving forward coming out of this combine for a long time now. It's going to be Xavier Worthy, the other wide receiver out of Texas that is also really, really good on tape. Just ran a 4.2 4.21 40-yard dash, breaking the record and setting the record for the fastest 40-yard dash time in NFL Scouting Combine history. I mean, this is absolutely insane. The moment, the way he broke it was so epic, celebrating with all the fans in the stadium. So this is why the Combine is so much fun to watch, and it's just great for Xavier Worthy to get that record. I mean, he's obviously a little bit of a smaller frame player that doesn't have that much weight on his ribs. So I think Brian Thomas's time is actually a little bit more impressive. But Xavier Worthy still flew over that 40-yard dash and just blew everything away. And he definitely also upped his draft stock. And the thing is, he also has great tape. I don't think it's going to make him a first-round pick, but in the second round, he's going to be a very intriguing player, or late first round, he's going to be an intriguing player that offers obviously insane speed, but also really good catching ability, great route runner, and just a great player with the ball in his hands after the catch. So he's going to be a dangerous weapon in the NFL as well. Then another guy that caught my eye today was Devontae Walker. Tez Walker out of North Carolina. He had a tough outing at the Senior Bowl. He really needed a good combine because he's such a talented player. On tape, he's a great guy that just had a limited amount of reps because of his difficult situation there at North Carolina. But he ran a 4.36 40-yard dash, had a great time there. He was really moving today. And then also in the on-field drills, the gauntlet, he looked really safe and smooth, caught everything, was straight on the line. And then also the on-field drills, he looked really smooth in and out of his breaks. So that was great seeing Tez Walker just gaining a little bit more positive momentum now because he's such a talented player too. As for a couple of guys that also went out on the Group 1, just like Adonai Mitchell, because now I mostly talked about Group 2 guys. I mean, really, Xavier Legette out of South Carolina, 4.39 40-yard dash. When you see the guy, he looks absolutely massive, and he just doesn't only look like it. I mean, he legit is a massive player, 6'1", 221 pounds, and he was moving today. And then also in the on-field workout drills, he had really good hands. He got up and got the football, located it well, and was pretty smooth for his size as well. So I was really impressed by Legette out of South Carolina. Loved what I saw out of him. Then also Ricky Pearsall, the slot merchant out of Florida, 4.41 40-yard dash, was moving pretty well too. Showed out with his routes. I mean, the quarterbacks in Group 2 did struggle a little bit with getting him the football, but he was looking really good too. And overall, this receiving class is so good. I mean, also Keon Coleman, he did have a 4.61 40-yard dash, but that's not his play style, right? He doesn't need necessarily the fastest speed in the world. He can win with his body and positioning, and he definitely showed that too, that he can play at a high level speed still in those drills. I mean, he had probably the fastest gauntlet on the first group of receivers. He had really safe hands, and he was moving well throughout all the drills. So his 40 time may seem a little bit worse than the others with 4.61, but he also showed out and had a great combine, Keon Coleman. So don't mistake his 40-yard performance for being a bad combine performance, because I think he had a really good combine overall. As we now quickly want to move on to running backs as well. What did I see out of them? I mean, obviously Isaac Guerrero out of Louisville had an insane workout from the perspective of an athlete, running a 4.33 40-yard dash, and then also in the vertical jump performing with a 41.50, and then also broad jump being number 2 guy at the 10.9 vertical broad jump as well. So from an athlete standpoint, Isaac Guerrero was absolutely insane. Same goes for Jalen Wright out of Tennessee, who had the better tape as a running back. He ran a 4.38 and also had great vertical and broad jump numbers. So overall, there's so many good running backs in this draft class. Also, Tyrone Tracy Jr. out of Purdue caught my eye. He had really good and smooth on-field workout drills. Same for Ray Davis out of Kentucky. So the Chicago Bears definitely could get a guy in the 4th, 5th round that could complement the offense and be a bell cow back for the Chicago Bears. And I'm just very hopeful that we get out of this draft with at least one running back, because we could definitely use that depth, even though we have Roschon and Khalil Herbert. And then lastly, for quarterbacks, I mean, just 2 guys that really stood out to me. First of all, Keaton Slovis out of BYU, player with lots of experience. He was able to throw the ball pretty well. He obviously had some inaccuracies, but he showed off his arm, and he did look pretty accurate with good anticipation on his throws. And then what really struck with his 40-yard dash was his 4.55 time, which I didn't expect at all. So great time for him. He was really moving, and that definitely upped his draft stock a little bit for me, at least, because he's a guy that can manage a game and now also move with that 4.55 speed. So he will be an attractive late round quarterback to develop as a backup. And then also Spencer Rattler, even though I think the Bears are in no way shape or form in really the range for him, because he's going to be a mid-round quarterback, the most attractive mid-round quarterback in this year's draft, because he looked really good in the Senior Bowl and also the Combine now too. But he had a great outing today, looking really accurate overall as well. And with that being said, that's the end of the episode, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Definitely let me know in the comments down below what you think of day 3 of the 2024 NFL Scouting Combine. Like and subscribe if you liked the video. Check out Instagram and Twitter if you want to as well. And as always, guys, bear down.